You're live on Facebook.
Guys, welcome to DUIResults.com. I'm the Shane Train. I'm here with attorney Robert J. Schefter, attorney at law. Welcome.
Good to see you, Shane.
We're doing the one-legged stand today.
Yes, today. So we're doing part 3 of our series, the standardized field sobriety testing. There are 3 standardized field sobriety tests that are recognized nationally. They are the HGN, that's the horizontal gaze nystagmus. We covered that week 1, that's the eye test. We follow the pen with your eye. Last week we did part 2, which was the walk and turn test, which you passed very well, so you're sober. And today we're doing the final one, the one-leg stand. The one-leg stand, again, it's another divided attention test. Not only is the officer looking to see if you can balance, but they're looking to see if you can follow instructions.
So I want to interrupt for 1 second. Can I call you Bobby when we're on
Sure.
here? Robert, what do you prefer?
Bobby's fine.
All right. I was watching a show, and after we did the eye thing, I saw an officer in the back of a car just go like this to someone. Yeah. Right? And from what you told me, that's not even how the test is set up.
Right.
They were in the back of the car and said, let me just see your eyes.
Right.
Like that.
Again, they call them standardized because they're supposed to be standardized. Everyone is supposed to get the same exact test. That's the only way the results can be valid. Okay? So if an officer's doing the test and he doesn't go all the way out and hold it there for 4 seconds, he's not doing it right. And you see that a lot. If he's not the required distance, that can mess things up. Then it's not standardized and the results aren't valid because they base the results on studies where they have numerous subjects perform these tests under the exact same conditions following the exact same rules. So if the rules are different, then the results are invalid. So that's the whole thing with standardized. So again, when we talk about the one-leg stand, this is a test you may have seen where someone is, as the name says, just standing there and they have the balance on one leg. But again, it's not that simple because the officer's looking for different things, looking to see if you can follow the instructions. So they'll start out with you and say, I want you to stand straight with your feet together and keep your arms at your side. Okay, so it's not like the walk and turn where you have to put heel to toe and stand there. It's a little easier because you're just standing there straight with your hands by your side. And then you'll be instructed not to start early. And then you'll be asked, you should be asked, do you understand my instructions so far? And then when they're told to start, they're going to be told that they want you to raise your foot. You can pick either one. Either foot, raise it 6 inches. Keep your hands by your side. Watch your foot the whole time and count like this. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. Either up to 30 or when the officer tells you to stop. Okay, so again...
So when's the best time to call you in this process, right? Because it's in the heat of the moment. Things are going. Who knows what happened? And I'm going through this test, and I don't feel comfortable to say no, but I hear this shut up, lawyer up.
Right.
How do I execute that?
Okay,
Can you
so
give me advice?
Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to call during the arrest process. People, that's a misconception. People will say, I get a phone call. I demand my phone call. You do not have the right to consult an attorney while you're being investigated as a suspect for a DUI. And even when you're placed under arrest, you do not have the right to call an attorney. And even when you're asked to give blood, you do not have the right to consult an attorney. So that's why it's shut up and lawyer up, not lawyer up and shut up, because you're going to be out there, so you need to shut up first. So the time to get a hold of me is immediately afterwards. But you need to shut up while you're going through the process. So when can you stop? You should really stop before you start. You shouldn't
Stop before you start.
You shouldn't agree to do the field sobriety test, is my general advice, and the advice of most experienced defense attorneys, because they're voluntary.
So can I do it without being offensive and rude and disrespectful?
Absolutely.
Because I think people misconstrue like following the rules, and there's a way to do it respectfully, right?
And again, when I say shut up and lawyer up, I'm telling you, the client, to shut up. We're not talking about police officers. They're out there doing their job, and their job is to convince you to do these tests. So you need to be polite and respectable and say, with all due respect, officer, I will do what you require me to do, but I am not going to volunteer to do these field sobriety tests. And when you talk about being polite and respectful, that's a two-way street. The officer should respect your rights at that point. Sometimes that doesn't happen.
I think people think that it's an admission of guilt. I really think, because I think in the mind that people think if they don't do it, that they're automatically guilty and you're going in.
Well, yeah, I mean, the reality is if we end up in trial, they're going to say, oh, he refused to do the field sobriety test. And the DA is going to argue, you refused because you knew you were under the influence. And then it's my job to argue, he refused because these tests are not valid in my mind. So there's
And you have a little bit of experience doing this, so people know you have.
Yeah, and not only can we argue that the tests themselves maybe don't show impairment, but again, the reality is when I have a video and I go through it, I can make sure that the officer's following the rules and make sure they do everything that they're supposed to do. So again, it's a personal choice. You can say, all right, I'm going to do the test, but you need to know that the tests are 3 out of 4 people out of 10 are going to fail the test stone sober, and you need to know that if you think you're going to pass them just because you can walk a straight line or raise your foot and count to 30, that doesn't mean you're going to pass.
Your competitive nature is not going to help you.
Right. Again, because they're looking for a lot more than just whether you can walk a straight line.
And that's interesting too. If you watch the previous videos, it's not as simple as people thinking. They jump the gun. And when he says shut up and lawyer up, he's giving you an option to say, all right, what can I do under my legal rights? It's just like taxes or anything else. You don't want to overpay in taxes? Well, you don't want to go over and out of bounds when you don't have to.
Sure.
You can have an attorney represent you. And Robert J. Schefter, attorney at law, is someone that's been doing this, reliable, dependable, and experienced and local. And does local matter?
Absolutely. Each county, especially in Pennsylvania, each county has their own system. So we have statewide laws, but each county administers them differently. For example, with the ARD program, each county has their own program. And it is very important that you know the system of your county. And I am extremely familiar with everything to do about your county.
So I don't come in and say I'm bringing some big New York attorney. That doesn't make any sense.
No,
Okay.
Absolutely not. And even, and there are attorneys who have a multi-county practice, and that's fine. There are some really good attorneys who practice in New York and elsewhere. But what you want to be careful of is someone who practices pretty much primarily in another county and then comes over and doesn't take the time to learn the rules. Because I've had people come in and say, hey, I had this attorney from another county. They told me that the ARD program was this, this, and this. I'm like, no, maybe in their home county, but not here in your county. So it's okay to have a multi-county practice, and I practice in Adams County sometimes too.
Well, you just came from Gettysburg.
I just came from there, but you need to establish relationships, and you need to take the time to learn each county's own practice. So it is extremely important that you have local attorney, and it's okay if they practice in another county as well, as long as they're doing a thorough job.
So they have experience in that county like Bobby has. You have over 20 years experience?
Yep.
Okay. So
entering my 23rd year.
Experience matters. So we're getting ready to do the test?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do it.
All right, let's go. This is the one-legged stand?
Yes, the one-leg stand.
So I wear my glasses or not?
That's up to you.
All right.
So with this one, remember, you've already completed 2 tests. You've gone through the HGN, now you've done the walk and turn, and now you're going to do the one-legged stand. So I'm going to ask you to stand with your feet together, arms to the side, and then I want you to stay in that position until I instruct you to start, okay? Do you understand my instructions so far?
You told me to stand like this with my hands at my side until you tell me to do anything further. Yes, I understand.
Now, when I ask you to start, you're going to lift one leg, either one, it's up to you. You're going to keep that leg 6 inches off the ground, okay? You're going to keep your arms at your side, and you're going to count like this: 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, okay? Do you have any questions?
I'm not sure if I have 6 inches, but do you know 6 inches? Can you help me with that?
6 inches is going to be approximately there. I'm not going to measure.
Okay.
But you don't want to be up here and you don't want to be here. Okay.
Okay. So
now
what I want to do real quick, I just want to verify. I'm going to hold up my leg 6 inches from the ground, whichever I choose.
And you're going to
with
keep
my
it straight.
arms. Well, I'm going to keep it straight.
Yep. When you hold it up, keep it straight. I'm not doing this.
And then my hands by my side,
Yes.
and I count 1 Mississippi, or no, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, and for how long?
Until I tell you to stop.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Do you have any other questions?
No.
Okay. You may start anytime.
1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000.
I forgot to
4
tell you, I want you to
1,000.
look at your feet while you're doing
Oh,
that.
1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7 1,000, 8 1,000, 9 1,000, 10 1,000, 11 1,000, 12 1,000, 13 1,000, 14 1,000, 15 1,000,
Okay,
16 1,000. Put my leg down.
Stop. Let me put your leg down. Okay, so
Yeah, that is not easy.
yeah, and so what happened is I timed Shane for 30 seconds. That's what the officer is supposed to time, 30 seconds. Now ours was a little off because I forgot to give him the one instruction. You're supposed to look at your feet. So we're off by 5 or 10 seconds. But you were at like 15 1,000, and I had you at 30 seconds. That's not a clue. But it's interesting in the studies that they use to justify this test, it says the officer should time it for a full 30 seconds because people who are impaired or above a .08 can do that for 25 seconds, but not 30 seconds, which I found to be kind of incredible.
Did I do it for 30?
Yeah, you did it
Oh,
for 30.
okay.
Yeah,
But I didn't
got
count
30
fast enough?
No, you didn't count fast enough.
Oh,
but
so I have to
interrupted.
keep it going. Okay.
But that's
You're
not,
sober.
Yeah, that's not one of the clues for this test.
Okay,
so
so keeping my arms to the side.
yeah, you kept your arms to the
looking.
side. So what they're looking for with this, there are 4 different clues.
Do you want to go back to here?
One clue.
Wow, that's not easy, Bobby.
Yeah. So
Great information, someone said. They're glad to hear that.
So one clue, the first clue is if you sway. If you're swaying back and forth while you're counting, that's a clue, okay? A second clue is if you use your arms to balance. If you raise your arms more than 6 inches, either one, that's a clue.
Oh, wow.
The third clue is if you hop on your foot, on your planet foot. If you have to hop to keep your balance, that's a clue. And the fourth clue, obviously, is if you put your foot down during the test. So, again, we went over the timing is critical too because they're saying some people can do it for 25 seconds but not 30 seconds. Again, I don't know what that's based on. But the other thing to understand here is that you have to show 2 different clues to be considered impaired. Okay? So if you put your foot down 5 times during 30 seconds, that's 1 clue. That's not a failure.
No,
and that's what I see a lot is an officer will say they put his foot down multiple times and they count that as multiple clues. But if that's the only thing you do wrong, that's 1 clue, which I think is interesting. So you can use your arms for balance. If that's the only clue you show, that's not a sign of impairment. If you sway, but that's the only thing you do, that's 1 clue. So again, there are less clues here than in the other 2 standardized tests, but the one-leg stand is an important part of the series. The other thing that's important is they're supposed to give you the standardized field sobriety tests in that order: HGN, walk and turn, one-leg stand. Now, I don't know of any judge or anyone who's going to say that they're completely invalid if you do them out of order, but again, we're talking standardized. In my mind, standardized is standardized. They're not standardized if you don't do it the way it's prescribed. The other thing, like with the walk and turn, if you are 65 years old or older, or you're more than 50 pounds overweight, or if you have back, leg, or inner ear problems, you should make those known to the officer, and they shouldn't have you perform the test. Or they at least will say, hey, even though you have all of these, do you think you can still perform it? The answer to that should be no. If you have a physical limitation, again, people want to prove things. Okay, I have a bad back and an inner ear problem, but yeah, I'll still try it. No, don't.
When does the breathalyzer unit come in?
Okay, so the breathalyzer, that's a great question. The breathalyzer is not a standardized field sobriety test, but typically after the field sobriety tests are given is when the officer, if he or she is going to ask you to give a PBT or a portable breathalyzer test, they'll do it then. If they're not sure, if you fail miserably and you appear to be very intoxicated, they probably are not going to give you a PBT. They're not required. If they think you're borderline, they might go ahead and do that to see if it registers that you have alcohol in your breath. The PBTs, we can talk about that more later, but you're not required to do those. They're field. It's like another field sobriety test. So we'll hit that another time. But
Okay.
that wraps it up for the one-leg stand. And again, wraps up the series on the standardized field sobriety test. What's interesting is there are other non-standardized field sobriety tests that we can cover in another episode, which would be fun. Count backwards in the alphabet and all that.
See, that's what I got to tell you. I would not be able to do it.
I can't do it. I
So-
can't. If you tell me to do the alphabet backwards, I'll fail miserably.
Yeah,
I don't know who. You know,
That
some
would be
people
if
can
somebody
do it,
wanted a
but-
comedy show, they would watch me try to do
Right.
that. But so, how can people get a hold of you?
The website is DUIresults.com. Facebook is at DUI Results. The phone number is 717-747-9048. That's about covered.
Shut up and lawyer up is important. And listen, it's you in your mind, so you can say, "Wow, this is the time I remember them saying, shut up and lawyer up." So let me wait for the process. Be calm, be relaxed, be respectful. Go through the process, and when your time is right, I mean, you have to have patience in this, right? There's a mistake, whatever happened. Now, street justice is not the time. You get a hold of Robert J. Schefter, attorney at law, local, experienced, reliable. You can go to Facebook and message him. His phone number's everywhere.
Yep.
And you'll give him a consultation.
Free consultation.
Should they wait till after before they get their charges?
What will I always used to tell people, wait till you get your charges because it can't really do anything till I review it. But now I tell people, give me a call right away because I can relieve some stress.
He relieves a lot of stress. Yo, he relieves a lot. I got a speeding ticket, and I don't know if you're like me. I was like, oh. And do you do any criminal stuff also?
Yeah, we do other
All right,
types
but
of
we'll
criminal
bring
stuff.
that up. But they should always consult you if they have a question.
Absolutely.
And then you can refer them if you can't help them.
Yeah.
DUI results.
Make sure to thank everybody for sharing and watching.
Please share this, guys and gals. That is really important. That's where social commerce comes into play and you helping your friends and your neighbors. They're probably not going to tell you they had something. They're probably embarrassed. But when you share it, it gives them on the back end an opportunity to help themselves.
Yep. And remember, stop by the cops, shut up and lawyer up.